Ruh-roh. Can you hear me?
I see Mr. Pickles, but I don't hear Mr. Pickles.
Ruh-roh.
No Mr. Pickle voice. It's a little bit different without the voice.
I know it's kind of disturbing and disappointing all at the same time. So I think we're live.
We are live with the Jim and Stu Show.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yay,
Hey.
Mr. Pickles is here. Stu is here. Now we
Hey.
just need an audience.
Yeah, we need some peeps.
Well, there you go.
Because it's very important. We definitely need people today.
There you go.
Are we broadcasting live? Where are we broadcasting today?
We are broadcasting live to my Facebook profile, my Facebook page, the Facebook group, LinkedIn, YouTube, Periscope, and the website.
Nice.
So we're a little slow getting started today, huh?
Hitting them all at once.
That's right. And VJ's here. VJ says greetings from the UK. VJ is over on the, if you see me glancing over this way, I'm looking at live on the website. Welcome, VJ. VJ's live on the Jim Edwards Method at jimandstewshow.com. And
VJ may get some special treatment today.
There you go. Oh, you're going to single him out for extra PT? That's what special treatment means in Stu's world.
Pays to be a winner.
There you go.
He is the winner today.
Okay. Well, you're going to get some Stu Smith merchandise, I guess. Stu will send it to you.
You'll see.
I'm wearing your merchandise today.
Oh, sorry.
I should start putting your books up. Start showing your books and everything when we're doing stuff.
You should. I forgot to put yours up today.
If I owned any of them, I'm just playing. Of course I do. Okay, I'm going to grab my Stu Smith book.
All right. Well, VJ, hey, real quick, what do you want to hear about today? Quick and simple.
Here's a book by Stu Smith.
Oh,
you thought I was going to put up a workout book.
Well, you know what? Real quick, somebody asked us the other day how we met, and we can do a real quick segue into that and answer with that book.
Okay.
So Jim found me on the internets, and I noticed, looking for fitness training, and then I noticed he had an email called eBook Coach, and I was like, "What's an eBook Coach?" And he explained to me what the eBook Coach was. I said, "Man, I've been trying to get my ebook. I've been writing ebooks for years, and books, and I said I've been trying to get my ebooks up on Amazon, and just haven't pulled the trigger on it." And he goes, "Oh, let me show you how to do that." And he walked me through his, what was it, the 7-day ebook wizard?
Well, we did a thing called 28-day book. And that was a new thing. That was the first time I'd really used wizards to help people create book length content and stuff.
And it did two things. Got that book up on Amazon and a #1 bestseller in that category. So with that, I was like, okay, Jim's a real deal. I said, Jim, I've always had this idea of that, as technology has evolved, we've all become our own little media companies, right? Therefore, let's do something about how we've all become, I'm a fitness guy, or I should say, I'm a media company that sells fitness, not just a fitness guy. If you sell real estate, you're not just a realtor.
Right.
You're a media company that sells real estate.
Exactly.
So that was kind of the theme of the DIY media marketing. And we went through all types of marketing in that book. And then we created a program around it. And then we figured out we work well together. And now rest is history.
And here we go. And I think that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
6, 7. I mean, it's coming up on it. Did we put a copyright date on this?
Probably in Roman
17.
numeral.
Yeah, Roman numeral. That's I got to think. So 2017 was when we came out with the book. So
yeah.
So that's cool. Somebody just asked. Carlin just asked, how much pickle juice do you need to get through Hell Week? A lot.
Yeah. A lot of
So what do we want to talk about? We got 2-part show today. We're going to do the Jim and Stu show, and then we have podcast number 110. See, I got the number right this time.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with that the last few weeks.
That's all right. I have failed to tell you what that is too.
Okay.
So partially my fault.
All right. We'll blame Stu. So I know what we're doing for the second part.
Yes.
But what are we doing in the for the Jim and Stu show? How are we going to entertain the folks besides a sing along?
Well, I figure we were going to do the mystery Jim and Stu show.
Okay.
And what that is we're going to ask a question to the audience and roll with it.
Oh, okay.
So basically, just ask a question and we'll share our own experiences and we will explain that answer as best we can.
Okay.
Don't even know what it was. And VJ, since he was the first one, he has first dibs.
Okay.
So pretty much whatever VJ says.
Well, on the website, when you go to jimandstewshow.com and we're on our actual website, he says, I'm starting an online business, starting with ebook, I guess, then create funnels around that. So, I mean, that is one way to get started. If you have Vicky says, I need coffee. Vicky, I've needed coffee for the last 4 hours. So the thing I would say is that you don't start with the ebook, you start with the audience. So who are you going to serve? And I'm going to hook y'all up. This is so important that I've had this card starting to go yellow and it's been taped here forever. But where you start is, what problem do you solve? Who do you solve it for? How do you solve that problem? What makes your solution unique? If you think about those 4 questions, that's where you start. What problem do you solve? Who do you solve it for? How do you solve that problem? What makes your solution unique? And then the 5th part is, where is your traffic going to come from? Where is your audience now? So you'll be able to will you be able to put a sales message in front of them? Those 5 things are critical, but the first 4 are just, you don't start with an ebook, you start with what's the problem. And it may be, to solve that problem for people, you don't do an ebook. You may end up having to do like a video course or a masterclass or a webinar or a how-to, or you may actually need to develop software or develop some tools or something. You don't start saying, okay, I'm going to publish an ebook. You start with, what problem can I solve for a specific group of people, and what is going to make that solution unique? So if you think about what I do, I'm not even sure. It's easier to talk about Stu than it is to talk about me. But if you think about what problem does Stu solve? Stu at its core helps people who want to serve in tactical professions to get in shape, to be able to get to and through the selection process and make it to whatever unit they're trying to get to. What makes it? How does he solve that problem? He solves it with real world workout programs that aren't theory or work 20 years ago, but he's got his own little mad lab of young people he experiments on daily in Maryland, plus crazy people like me who will get a sheet of paper from him every week and do everything that's on it and then report back whether we're dead or not. And then
good feedback.
And then what makes his solution unique is that he's a former Navy SEAL, and also is the former Navy SEAL who trains all of the guys coming out of the Naval Academy who are going to go to BUD/S, and he has one of the highest completion rates, or the highest completion rate of any coach that consistently sends kids to BUD/S. So that's like the complete package, as opposed to, and each one of those parts is important, because what makes his solution unique is the fact that he was a Navy SEAL, but he's not out of it, because there's plenty of former Navy SEALs that try and break into the fitness thing, but it's like they're not there anymore. But what continues to make it unique is that he's in it. So let's step back now and use Stu's thing as an example, as the template. So, what's the problem? Okay, so he's clearly defined the problem. I need to get in shape to do this thing. He has clearly defined his audience. It's people who want to go into tactical professions, whether it's FBI, BUDS, whatever it is. Clearly has defined that and created a funnel for each one of those. So it's not like the guys who want to go to the FBI Academy are buying the BUDS book. Maybe they are, but he's got an FBI book. He's got a SWAT book. He's got the firefighter book. He's got the Green Beret book. He's got the airborne school book. He's got all these different funnels that bring people in. He's also got what makes the solution unique is twofold. One, he did it. And that's probably the biggest thing that people screw around on or mess up when they're trying to sell stuff is they sell stuff. It's the old saying of don't teach what you don't know and don't lead where you don't go. And so it's the fact that he did it. And then the fact now, second part of that is that he's still doing it. And the fact that he can still do the workouts that he's teaching these guys to do to be able to make it. That makes a really bulletproof, that makes it really bulletproof. So you gotta really have that big picture. So if you think about me with 7-Day ebook way back when in August of 2001, when we launched 7-Day ebook, I didn't just yank out of my butt that I wanted to teach people how to do ebooks because I thought it would be hot. I had already been selling and had figured out from scratch by myself how to sell ebooks on the internet, how to write the sales copy, how to publish them, how to do all this stuff, and then how to turn it into a business. I'd been doing that for 4 years, banging my head against the wall and getting it up to the point where that one ebook was covering a house payment, 2 car payments, and the electric bill. And then the last question of, where's your audience? Where's your traffic going to come from? I realized that I didn't have that audience, but I could partner with someone who did, a guy by the name of Joe Vitale. So Joe and I came together and he helped me with that last part. What made my solution unique is that I had been doing it. I'd been written up in the New York Times. Okay. That's the actual, this is the actual article that includes me being featured in there. It was on the front cover of the Sunday edition of the New York Times real estate section. So I had the credibility. I had just, it all made sense. The story, the offer, the problem, the audience, and also where I was going to get the traffic from. So that's where people, it's like all 5 of these things are like spokes on a wheel. If one of them's too short, then the wheel's not going to work. If one of them's too long compared to the others, it's not going to work. You got to have all the elements. So I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, and I hope that was okay. And if it wasn't, I'm sorry. I'll refund your money for today's presentation that you paid.
Well, I have some addition to that.
Okay.
And I would say this. Let's say VJ's ebook answers a question.
Okay.
Right? It solves a problem for somebody. Right? It's probably solving it on a generic level. Right? And that can be the start. Well, an article about your ebook, postings about your ebook can be the start of the funnel. Right. And then you have the ebook there, which is an option for people to buy at a relatively inexpensive price. And then maybe there's another level where it's a little more personalized. Maybe it's a membership section to your website where you get access to more stuff that other people don't. Other people have to pay for. And then you have a personalized section for whatever. You now create a service arm of your website to where you can personalize that experience for the person that needs a problem solved.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I have done on my website is have done it that way over 20 years now. And it's been good. And I will say this, Jim, I wish I would have met you in 2005.
Okay. I wish you had too, because I wouldn't have been a fat ass for 10 years before we met.
I could have used you in 2005, big time.
Well, what you just described is what, it's really, you got three components. The do it yourself, do it with you and then do it for you. So if you think about, the do it yourself is get the book. The do it with you is join the membership site. And the do it for you is either coaching or a service, depending on how your thing is. I mean, if I could hire you to get me in good shape and I could lay inside while you were out doing my push-ups in the driveway, son, I would have built you a house on the other side of my property and your whole family would be living here. And you'd be in the driveway right now pushing them out because I'm feeling a little flabby up top.
That'd be all right. You could outsource that.
Right. But there'd be a whole lot of people in third world countries that were just in beastly shape. If, head on over to fiverrpushups.com or getinshape.com, Get in Shaper. So, I think that, you might say, well, you can't really have a done for you component with a service business or a coaching business with Stu's thing, but you can, because with the custom workouts that he sends and, being able to talk to him and get feedback and stuff, you can take it to that next level. So it's either done for you or it's one-on-one type coaching. But that's the way to think about your value ladder as it goes up. So that's real good. And what you just said there, what I heard of what you were saying is you can also, instead of making it generic, let's say your ebook is, it doesn't even matter, but you instinctively did that where you don't sell a fitness book, you sell a fitness book for a specific purpose to a specific audience. So you don't, a lot of them are the same exercises and stuff, but I mean, the FBI Academy workout book, I mean, that's somebody who's, I'm not getting just a workout book. I'm getting the FBI Academy workout book because I want to go to the FBI Academy. That's worth more money to me. I might pay $12 for a workout book, or you can get free stuff on YouTube, but I'll pay $30, $40 for the, and if I'm really serious, I might be like, hey, could you help me? Could I hire you to help me? So all of a sudden we've gone from a generic $12 sale to, $300 to $400 a quarter in coaching somebody live. That's a whole different ball game.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's how I would do that, VJ.
Nice. Man, we worked the hell out of that question, didn't we?
Yeah, that was good.
All
and
right.
I'd only planned on doing one and making a whole show around it.
Okay.
However, I just saw another good question come in if you want to try it. You got enough time?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I just have to be done at 10, but I mean, we're good.
Yeah, that's good. We'll do one more.
Okay.
So we're building our affiliates so we can leverage their customer base to pick the low-hanging fruit. Based upon your experience, should we allow everyone to be an affiliate or only ones with certain numbers of customers?
So
this is from Tim.
Okay. So here's my answer to that. It depends. If you're using a platform like ClickBank or JVZoo, where the affiliate program is just built into the whole payment processing thing, which is really the key behind ClickBank or JVZoo, or I'm sure there's others now, where that's one of the reasons why people even sign up for it, is because they have an existing network of affiliates and they're the ones who take the payment. They being ClickBank. ClickBank takes the payment. ClickBank pays you. They pay the affiliate. They have all the fraud risk and other stuff on them. Then I say, let anybody and their brother be your affiliate. Just don't do the instant payout stuff. Make them wait. Yeah. Don't do like JVZoo. You can do, and others, you can do instant payout to affiliates, which you only do that with people that you know and trust. So with that kind of a situation, let anybody be your affiliate. That's been my experience in the past. The second thing is that if you are managing the affiliate program, so let's say you're using ClickFunnels and you're using Backpack, or you're using, there's one that we use that I'm having
I used ShareASale for a long time.
Okay. So like ShareASale or God, I can't think of the one that we used for forever, but anyway, Susan knows the answer, but the bottom line is if I'm paying the affiliate, if I'm taking the money, I'm paying the affiliate and all that stuff, then I'm going to make them apply. And I want to know that they really do focus in on that audience, that they're going to, that they have a good business. They're not a spammer, because the problem is that the affiliate can go do a bunch of stupid stuff and you could be the one left holding the bag. You're the one that gets your URL, your web address banned. Zaxa, that's it. Susan, I couldn't think of the damn name. Zaxa. I wanted to say AXA, but that wasn't right. So that's a problem, because if you're running your affiliate program and it's running through your domain and people are out there spamming your domain, they're out there doing crazy ads with your domain, you can get your domain banned. That's why you see sites like JVZoo and others just cycling through all these different domains, because the affiliates do stupid stuff and they get domains banned. You can't advertise on Facebook and other stuff like that. So the other thing is that you really need to have a clear set of affiliate guidelines, a clear rules about how to promote your stuff. But again, if you're using ClickBank or something like that, it's the Wild West. So you pretty much just got to assume that every idiot in the world is going to do everything wrong. And you just have really good disclaimers on your site and make sure that your business entity is set up the right way. But that's the big thing, is that if they're running through your domain and you're paying the freight, make them apply. And so and the other thing though is that a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to set up an affiliate program, I'm going to get rich. And it's the old thing, and man, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own, blah, 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 blah. But the problem is that there's so many people with so many affiliate programs. You need to go out and recruit affiliates. You need to go find people to be your affiliate. You're not just going to have an offer and people are just going to show up. Now, that happens for some people on ClickBank. Some offers just take off. I've seen some weight loss offers and some others that affiliates just they convert real well, and they just will take off. An affiliate will grab a hold of it, and all of a sudden they'll go from $1,000 a month to $100,000 a month based on the back of an affiliate. But the problem is that that affiliate can drop you at any time, stop promoting. So it's just, think it through. It's not a get rich quick. It's just another way of doing business. Now, the first 10 years of my business, that was how I promoted everything. All my ebooks were on ClickBank, and I knew how to play the game so that my ebooks would go up to the top and people would say, hey, I'm looking for a high converting offer, so I'll sell this. I mean, for 10 years, I had the #1 product in the self-publishing category on ClickBank. So it's one of those things where, on the flip side, if you're going to be doing webinars and other stuff, you need to reach out to specific people, do the whole Dream 100 thing, and recruit them that way. So that's my, you just got to cover your ass, because I had a situation one time that cost me $25,000 in legal fees to make someone stop doing something where they were claiming to be a business partner of mine, where they were an affiliate reseller, and they would not stop. They would not stop. And I finally had to hire an attorney, and it cost me $25 to get this idiot shut down. $25,000 to get this guy to shut down. But people were coming to me looking for refunds on stuff that I had never sold them. And it was just crazy. So people will do crazy, stupid stuff. So be ready.
Yeah, I used to do that. One thing I liked about ShareSale was you could approve them, each one. Yeah. So you could go to their website, check it out. It also had a a flag and a name of the country where their IP address was from. So you could just, if it had the picture of somewhere in, Armenia, whatever, it's a spamming website, you could just say, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, it went well for a while. I think something dried up for my affiliate. Maybe I didn't pay it enough attention or something like that, but it was fun in the beginning.
The thing is with affiliates, instead of your customer becomes the affiliate. That's part of the issue, is that your customer is the affiliate and your job is to help them to sell to their customer, which is the person you're ultimately wanting to be interested in your stuff. So you might say, oh man, I got 5,000 affiliates now. So what? I mean, it's if you got 5,000 people doing nothing, then it doesn't make you any money. And I was up to like 10 or 12,000 affiliates, people who said they wanted to promote my stuff, and it
gets consuming to handle. I mean,
right.
You'll find it takes a lot of your time if you grow that big. However, if you have 5 or 10 really good affiliates, that may be all you need.
Right. But then you also need to not put all your eggs in one basket, because they are fickle. So some better offer comes along, a better thing comes along, and then they want more money. They want a higher commission, so and all this other stuff. And it's just, it's not a long-term business strategy. So
there you go.
All right.
But are we ready for the podcast? Let's do it.
All right. So let's transition in the second half of today's Jim and Stu show, where we'll be doing the podcast. Now, wait just a second, kids, because I have to do a couple things in order to make this work. Hey everybody, Jim Edwards here, and welcome back to the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. Today we have episode 110 of our show. Can you believe it, Stu? We have done 110 episodes of our podcast.
I know.
That's
and
cool.
Talking about sales copywriting and content marketing hacks.
Well, there you go.
Go figure.
It only took you until like episode 50 to be able to rattle that off without messing it up and doing different names for what we were doing. I'm proud of you. Yeah, good job.
Took a while.
So
doesn't roll off the tongue very well, Jim.
Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. What?
Okay.
What?
Maybe it does for you.
That's because I made it up. So what are we talking about today, Stu?
Okay. So how do you set yourself apart as an industry expert in whatever you are doing?
Okay.
So it was a good question. It was a good question that we got on the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks Facebook group, which you should be a member of if you're not.
It's free to join, but you do have to fill out a 3-question application. That's how we keep out the freaks and the weirdos. Basically, we ask really hard questions like, who's your target audience and why do you want to get better at sales copy? But apparently people are incapable of filling that out. So there you go.
It's all right. You still have what? 20,000 people on there?
Oh, I think there's more, but there's a bunch. Yeah. And it's a really good group. And so we don't just let anybody in. And so there's a lot of good stuff happens in there. Okay. So the question is, say the question again.
It is setting yourself apart as an industry expert.
Okay. So let's talk about, for a moment, what is an expert? Because that's where I think people get hung up. Some people think that in fact, we've got a bunch of people here with us live. Let's get some response going in the question and answer box. In your opinion, what is an expert? You guys in the Q&A box, tell us, what is an expert? What qualifies as an expert? How do you qualify to be an expert or an industry expert? Bob says someone who claims they are an expert. Okay, so you're going to claim it. You don't have to prove it. You're just going to claim it. That's what Bob says.
A lot of people do that, Bob.
A lot of people do that, and they are found out very quickly to not be experts. So you got to be good at something. You're an expert at that. Okay. So, Stu, while we're waiting so Carlin says someone who's actually sold their expertise for money. Expert knows the stuff inside and out. Debbie says someone who has more knowledge gained over years. But what happens if something changes real fast and nobody knows what to do, and somebody figures it out, but they just figured it out last week, but they know more than everybody else? Are they an expert?
And they're only 16 years old.
And they're only 16 years old. Does that make them an expert? I think of that Palmer Luckey kid who basically invented the Oculus Quest. In his 20s, he became a billionaire but in his teens, he started developing that. Vicky says proven track record of good results in their field. Debbie says adaptability. Bob says you learn something and keep on learning about it.
Yeah, there you go. I like
that. I like that one a lot. Bob, you win too. You just win our congratulations and adulation. We do not send out swag like we do over on the Money Madness show. Vicky says there are always exceptions. And VJ says someone who's 2 steps ahead. So that's like that Frank Abagnale, the Catch Me If You Can guy who taught at a college and stuff, basically just staying 1 chapter ahead of the rest of the class. And so to me, my definition of an expert, there's 2 types of experts. There's an expert in a single subject matter, like you're an expert in, a good example. When I started in the mortgage business, I was fortunate in that the mortgage business was going through some tumult, which means there was a lot of stuff going on. One of the things was the way the FHA loans were calculated, the mortgage insurance was calculated, changed. And so nobody understood how to figure out what people's monthly payments were going to be. So I sat down with one of the underwriters, had her explain it to me. I came up with a sheet to help people, a little 1-pager that showed people how to calculate it. And then I went out into the marketplace and started teaching real estate agents one-on-one how to calculate payments so they could quickly pre-qualify people and see what kind of house they might be able to have. So I was an expert instantly in FHA mortgage insurance. However, the second thing is what you might consider an authentic master expert type thing is the person who has done mortgage for years and years and years and just knows stuff that other people don't, and so can react better, faster, and easier to situations, and they just know things. So you can be a subject matter expert pretty quickly, but to be an industry expert, I think, takes a little bit more time. Now, internet years are different than normal years, but I would say to be an industry expert takes, we're talking a subject matter expert can be done in days, weeks, and months. An industry expert, in my opinion, then you're talking about years type stuff, because you're just applying experience with all kinds of stuff. So I've spoken a bunch. Stu, what are your thoughts?
No, I would agree with you 100%. And also the continued learning and staying relevant. Yes. Is the big, especially for the industry expert. If you're going to do this for a long time, there's obviously changes that occur throughout time, whether it's technology changes or just environmental changes. So you staying relevant with all the newest trends is very important too. So yeah. I would say experience, knowledge, continuing education, always learning, and staying relevant.
And I think that is, I talk about the 3 hats that you can wear. That's part of being an expert and an industry expert. You can wear the 3 hats. The 3 hats are sometimes you're the student, sometimes you're the reporter, and sometimes you're the expert. So a true industry expert is not afraid to tell people, you know what, something's changed and I'm having to learn about this right now. Or something's changed, here's what I see coming on the horizon. So they're comfortable and confident and competent and are able to put their ego in check to say, look, I'm wearing my student hat right now. I'm wearing my, I'm wearing the reporter hat right now. I don't know what the answer is, but I know the questions to ask. And that's part of being an industry expert, is knowing if you don't know the answers, you know the questions to ask and you know where to look for the answers, whether it's to other people or in your own experience. Carlin says relationships with key players in an industry too, to a degree. I think that's not, being an industry expert. I think if you are truly an expert, you will naturally develop relationships with people. But there are some people that have a whole lot of relationships, but not a whole lot of depth. And they're supported by kind of like the emperor's new clothes type thing. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but yes, I think that you will naturally develop relationships if you are truly an industry expert.
I would agree, sir. 100%.
Okay. Well,
no, I really have nothing to add to that. I think it's a great time for Mr. Pickles to chime in.
Well, Mr. Pickles wants to know what you think, Stu. I mean, come on. We've only been going for 7 minutes, and we can't be done with the podcast already. I mean, we've answered the question, but what the hell else are we going to talk about? Huh?
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about ways to stay relevant.
Okay. Well, why don't you take this one first? Because what ends up happening is I feel like you're the puppet master. It's like, hey, let's wind Jim up a little bit. Let's throw in a dime and see what he does.
That's what I do.
Oh,
but I will say that staying relevant, doesn't require a great amount of effort, other than just keeping your eyes open and your ears open to new things that you see happening, especially today when we're a media consumed market. I mean, if you think about a person's life in a day, it starts off as looking at a little screen, going to a medium screen, going back to a big screen, looking at your little screen at the same time. That is a day in the life of a human being right now.
Yep.
So,
and I think you're absolutely right. What sprung into my mind with what you just said is that to be an expert requires consistency. It's not something that it's like working out. Working out is like the perfect allegory for life and for anything. Is that you can't do it once a month. You can't do it once every 6 months. It's something you have to do daily. And if you do it daily, you get stronger, you get faster, you stay on top of your game. One of the things I like to do is I'll spend 15 minutes a day. I have a couple of different Google alerts set up, and I will spend 15 minutes a day looking at what shows up for those Google alerts. One of them is around artificial intelligence, and the other one is around legal marijuana for investment purposes. I ain't hitting it, but by golly, I'll put my money in it if I think I can make some dough. So those I spend, 15 minutes a day, usually in the smallest room of the house where I have screen in hand, entertaining myself. And I will, I'll sit there and read stuff. And that's where I pay attention to that. So my point is that it doesn't take a ton of time. Another way to stay relevant is to publish something every day. Do a video, do an article, do a meme, do a tweet, do something. And I think that's important because that keeps your spear sharp.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, and VJ just asked something, what about timeless fundamental principles versus transient shiny objects? Well, that's, again, if you understand principles, so for example, like principles of advertising, principles of copywriting, principles of, hooks, stories, offers, creating offers, then you're able to adapt those fundamentals to changing conditions. So in a previous Jim and Stu show, we talked about the 6-word story. We then talked about why would it be important to be able to tell a 6-word story. And immediately we talked about mobile advertising, mobile, just where people, you need to do more with less. And there's other things that translates into headlines, email subject lines, all these things. When you understand that principle of how to hook people, you can then apply that across all these different things. So in this case, the fundamental principle that's never going to change is hooking people with, just hooking people to grab their attention. Then the shiny object or the thing that's changing. Anybody remember MySpace? Anybody remember Overture? Anybody remember GoTo.com? Anybody remember, when Google AdWords was the only way to get traffic? And then along came Facebook, and you've got all these different sites coming and going. Someday Facebook will still be here, but somebody's going to come along and there's going to be an alternative to Facebook. It's going to get broken up. Something's going to happen. And that's where you got to understand, okay, this is a new platform, but the principles that I know will never change. A true authentic expert says, okay, how do I apply the principles I know work to this new thing? As opposed to people who are like, okay, I'm going to buy that bright, shiny object and I'm going to, I'm going to get rich from that bright, shiny object. They don't understand the principles. They don't understand anything around it. They just know I'm going to buy this bright, shiny object and I'm going to get rich. And they might for a time. I'm going to tell you an old man story right now. So back in the early 2000s, when blogs first came out, Google, there was a mechanism that was built into blogs that would, when you posted to your blog, Google really wanted to index blog content really, 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 really fast because they wanted to have the most up-to-date database. So you would, when you posted to your blog, you could have it ping Google, and it would literally ping Google. It would say, hey, there's something new on this blog. You should come crawl it because there's something good. And you could get your page indexed in Google in like 5 minutes. It was, in some cases, it was faster. It was almost instantaneous. So this is about the same time that Google was doing this, came out with AdSense, and people were doing these AdSense sites, and they were making a bunch of money by creating sites that had tons of Google advertising on it. And then they would get people to come to their site, click on it, and they would make money. So there was this whole thing about something called blog and ping, that was the thing. When you posted a blog post, it would ping Google and you would get stuff indexed. Well, these guys came out with this software called Blog. It was Blog and Ping something. I don't remember what it was, but basically what it would do is it would create this crap content and it would annoy the absolute shit out of Google. Ping, 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 ping. They're blogging and pinging like 5,000 pages in an hour. Okay. And so what happened was, for a while, it was really cool. It was crazy cool. You could get a page indexed in Google in like 2 minutes, and there were people that were making a ton of money. Like it was the convergence of stuff. But I told the guys straight up when they asked me to promote, I said, this won't work 90 days from now. I'm not coming anywhere near this. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. I said, any type of exploit like this, Google's not stupid. Right now, they're letting it's fulfilling a purpose for them. Because, and again, this is a pattern that you see when these new companies come out. They want to get any market traction they can. They want to make as much money any way they can to up their share value while they're bringing in corporate advertisers or corporate, more legit people. And as soon as they replace the income they're making from the Wild West, they exile the Wild West people and they've replaced it with the corporate stupid money. It's the same thing Google did. It's the same thing Facebook did. It's the same thing anybody does. Instagram, all of them. So the point is that if you understand principles, you can apply principles to anything. If you understand patterns, then you can see what's coming. You've been through it enough, or you've studied it enough to be able to see the writing on the wall, literally, of what's going on, and be able to take these disparate things and make a coherent picture out of them about what's going on, what's going to happen, why this is happening, and where it's going. So that's part of being an authentic expert, is having enough experience under your belt to be able to say, this is just the same pattern repeating itself with a few different players. And you can also see, you can see the bright, shiny object crap coming from a mile away. You can see something like, for example, do you remember when Facebook, you were able to see more of people's personal data, like their email address and other stuff? So there were people that came out with these scrapers where they were able to go in to all these different groups, and they were able to scrape all the members of all the groups, turn them into an audience, and then upload that audience into Facebook to create groups that they could advertise to.
Damn.
And it was a great thing. But I said, when they asked me, guys came to me, hey, do you want to promote this? No, because this is going to go away. There is no way. Big companies will only let you resell their data back to them for a certain amount of time, and until they figure out what you're doing, or it doesn't serve a purpose anymore, and they smack you on the PP and say, no more. So I'm kind of going off on tangents, but it's when you understand this stuff and you've been through it enough, you can see what's coming.
Yeah, you digressed a little bit there, but it was still relevant in a way that you do have to look at the big picture. And a good way to do that is to look where companies are making these small changes, and you can kind of see a trend that you might want to pay attention to. For instance, think about the first search engine you ever used.
Alta Vista. Remember Alta Vista?
Web crawler.
Yep.
Excite. Netscape, I think, had one.
Yeah, Netscape.
But I remember one of the first ones I ever used was Yahoo. And guess what? They're still around.
Yeah.
They're not the big boy anymore. But they're still around. I still have a Yahoo store. They've kind of evolved into almost like a GoDaddy store search engine
thing
combo. They're just kind of they're all over the place.
News, entertainment, all that.
Yeah. So, but they have remained relevant to a degree because they just kind of found their niche and then bumped into like too many niches. Yeah, that's probably why they're oversaturated a little bit. But we can do that to ourselves too, if we're not disciplined, like Jim was saying. To just say, yeah, this is just a trend that's not going to last, and hopefully you're right.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with coming in on it a few months later either, if it's something that seems to you were wrong about. For instance, podcasting. When podcasts started, I was like, I don't know. I don't really need a podcast.
Right.
And then, a few months later, like more people were getting podcasts, and Jim was like, hey, we should get a podcast. And all right, let's figure out how to get a podcast. And then we taught people how to get a podcast, and, it became a thing. And now I really enjoy it. They're a lot of fun. You've done over 100 and I've done almost 200. And, it's just.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done the 100 if I didn't have you helping me, though. I'd still be on episode 3. So, but that's, the big thing, I think, just bringing it back around to being an authentic expert or being an expert, also is it's not because being an expert is not an event. So a lot of people think that someday I will arrive, someday I will be an expert. And when I am an expert, or when I'm an industry expert, when I'm a celebrity, when I'm a whatever, then life will be perfect. I will just know what to do. It's kind of like when you were a little kid, you thought someday when I'm an adult, I'll have this stuff handled. You know, there's going to be this magical transition from kid to adult where I will just know things. I will just be able to and it hadn't happened yet. I'm still waiting. I'm a 5-year-old trapped in a 53-year-old's body. And the thing is, it's a process. I know people, and I've seen people along the way. If you liken this industry, this whole world, to a caravan, you know, I've seen guys pull over to the side of the road and just kind of say, okay, I made it. I'm like, dude, that's a rest stop on the way. That's not, you're not done. You're never done. You're never done learning. You're never done figuring stuff out. You're never done communicating. I mean, you can go back, even if there's just a real finite amount of stuff that you teach and do, you always need to go back and revisit the fundamentals. You need to go back and see how the world has changed and how those principles need to be applied either more or less differently in different spots. I mean, when you and I did DIY Media Marketing Academy, we taught for a year, we taught the 12 things, the 12 fundamentals. And then the next year we went back and we taught what had changed.
Yeah.
That pissed a couple people off, but most people were like, wow, I've never seen that approach before, where it's just, okay, here's what's changed in this, and this has changed, this has changed, this has changed. So I think that's important too, is just keeping up with the changes can be a full-time job as well. So anyway.
Yeah. No, I like that one. That was really good. You know, I've been using this analogy to describe what mental toughness is, and it might work for this as well. I use the analogy as long-term investments, but you can only deposit $1 a day, right? So it's just this consistency that occurs. You know, every day you're doing something. Every day you're adding something,
right?
And that's how it occurs. So whether it's mental toughness or it's becoming the expert, it's becoming, you know, the go-to person in your field.
Yeah.
Just takes one day at a time. Consistency is the key.
And taking it back to the workout analogy, not too long ago, I had just gotten so burnt out that, I mean, this is within the last couple of months, that I took 2 weeks off. I was just like, okay, I'm not doing nothing for 2 weeks. I'm gonna sit on this couch. I went from level 0 to level 255 in Call of Duty. I spent like literally 4 full days, whatever 4 times 24 is, 96 hours total screen time. And when I came back to working out, it was painful. Yeah, it was painful. And the thing is, it in a surprisingly short period of time, you can lose your edge with your expertise. You got to do a little something every single day to keep your head in the game. And that's one of the reasons why we do these shows and other things, is because if I can sharpen up one idea, if I can have one little insight, if I can have somebody ask me one question that makes me think with just a little bit different English on it, sometimes that can be the key that changes everything, that'll launch you in a whole different direction. When I remember the conversation I had with Susan, my assistant, and I was driving back from visiting my dad after his cancer surgery, and we were talking about wizards and scripts and stuff, and we came up with the idea of the avatar and having the avatar script to feed all the other scripts. And just that one conversation, just trying, always every day thinking about how can we get better? How can we make things better? Has hit that geometric point where I think over half the scripts inside of Funnel Scripts are now avatar enabled. We're working on the ones in the Jim Edwards Method Premium. And it's just that cause set in motion with that focus every single day. It's kind of like that old thing of, would you rather have, a dollar a day for the rest of your life, or would you rather have a penny and double it for the next 30 days? What would you rather have? And because if you double the penny every day for 30 days, it comes out to like, I don't know, 30 million bucks or 100 million bucks or something like that. So, but I'm sure the same thing applies, that if you were to get 1% better every day, just 1% better in some way every single day, what would that translate into as far as the quality of your life? I think it would be significant.
I'm going to share something with you, and you're right. Sometimes these little shows or these kind of conversations that you have, and I thank the audience for taking a moment to listen to, because Jim and I had a conversation the other day where he just asked me about Lulu Express on my Shopify store, which is basically an automated way to sell your book on your website. And it goes directly to the printer. They drop ship it for you. I mean, it's seamless. And so he asked me about it, and I had thought about doing it. And I'm so glad that Jim asked, because he put the fire under me to just figure it out so I could tell him how to do it and what it's doing. I have put all of my books up on that, which there's probably 35 different ones that I had to upload and do everything for. But it saves an hour and a half to 2 hours a day of administrative work right now. Yes, I just opened up an hour and a half to 2 hours a day of my day.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So it was a huge change. If you have a lot of products, it's written products, it's very, it's highly recommended. But
that's amazing.
Just those little conversations like that, just opens up more time in your day to do things. And I'm not saying that's making me an expert at anything. It's just one of those things that, because I am keeping my eyes open, keeping my ears open, listening, and I find these little ideas that somehow life whispers to you, and you just go with it. And it opens up the whole avenue to drive you a little bit more forward, a little more focus.
That's pretty cool on that Lulu thing. That's
huge.
That's a big deal. Plus, people are probably getting their books faster because there's no delay between when they order and when you place the order on Lulu.
True.
So I just did this on my Excel, and I said, okay, what would happen if you got 1% better every day? And so if you started out as a 1, so you were at 100% today, and you got 1% better every day for 365 days, then you would be, at the end of 365 days, you would be 3,740.93% better. So you would be 3,700 times better than you are today. Damn. If you got 1% better every single day because of that compounding effect. That's kind of cool. I mean, I like to do stupid stuff like that on.
37 times better is good.
Yeah. No, 37,000 times better.
Oh, is that right?
Or 3,700. It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot.
Okay. 370.
There you go.
Who knows?
Okie doke. So I think that's it.
I think that's it.
That is our show.
That's plenty, people. Plenty.
I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone who joined us live on the website at jimandstewshow.com. where you get extra special treatment. I would remind everybody when you go to jimandstu.com, you can click the link to get a free copy of my Big Black Book, the Sales, Copy, and Content Marketing Big Black Book. That gives you 94 of the greatest tips, tricks, and tools and advice ever shared about copywriting and content marketing for free. We actually put that book together is the transcripts, the edited transcripts of the first 100 episodes that we did of Sales, Copywriting, Content Marketing Hacks podcast. So there's a ton of great information in there. And it's funny, somebody asked, well, are you going to sell the audio edition? I said, no, you can listen to the podcast for free. These are the transcripts of the podcast. I actually had some people say, wow, that they had to think about it. But the big thing I would tell you is that if you want to get better, you just got to do something every day. And this, I think I heard it from Jim Rohn, or I don't remember where, but if you want to be great, first you got to be good. Before you can be good, you got to be bad. And before you can be bad, you have to try. So if you're trying, you're on your way to greatness. And I've always remembered that, and remembered that, you know, the faster I try, the faster I can make it through bad, through good to great. So just think about that. Everybody have a wonderful day. Stu, thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye, everybody.